What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well today. I always like when tracks kind of get to this point because it always seems very intimidating and overwhelming at the beginning when you start working on something. But as you guys know, I've mentioned it a couple times now, I have been working on Moto 101 in the UK, and this is something that has taken me probably since the start of September so far. One thing I hate about this game, look how just janky that looks from here. And it's not until you get like right up close, everything like loads in nice and smooth and properly. But you go from a little bit of a distance and I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyway, we have a track here. They originally was just going to be this main track over here. However, the real life track decided to add a replica of round one of the 2025 UK Arena Cross season to it, to which there has also been GoPros. If you're wondering why it's a bit rough and rutted, that is because it was a bit rough and rutted in the reference material that I used. So this track has been tested 90% of the time on the Preview 3 450 so far. I have also tested it out a little bit on the Preview 250, and the track flows just as well when you get over all the jumps, no problem. And then also I did dabble a little bit on current OEM because I think it's probably still going to be like another month or 2 months, maybe longer, before we get any full OEM release. As you see here, the track is done. I wanted to give an update on where it is at so far, since people are asking about it. And the issue is, now that the track and the jumps and the ruts and the bumps have all been built and put together, now is the bit that I personally struggle with the most, and that is the texturing. I don't know if anyone else relates to that builds tracks. For whatever reason, for me, texturing and making a track actually look nice is the majority of the issue and the battle, in my opinion. But I'm excited to try and give it a go and try and make it all look as pretty. So we are on course for it releasing by the end of the month, which is the date I kind of kept giving it all. You might think some bits probably look a little bit janky, but when you do just have one flat texture over everything, it can look that way a little bit. I might make some more tweaks here and there just on the roughness, because I suppose it's got like little chop, for example, here, but it hasn't got bumps as such. But we'll see as time goes on, as it see how it flows and how it rides. One thing that I did by mistake, which kind of makes me want to build a soundtrack in the future, is we've got a bump here on the inside of this corner. If you jump this single, you can just downside it to perfection and then rip this inside really, really nicely. And if you're thinking it looks a little bit simple, if you hop on a 450 and you get this outside line here absolutely perfect, and you angle this jump correctly, you can double all the way around this corner to land here, which is a line I don't think anyone's ever done in real life yet. Most people just double to the this little inside roller and then single out, but there is that opportunity as well. So I'm going to spin some laps on it and just show you how it all flows and everything, and yeah, enjoy. Now, you might be like, why are the start gates over the finish line jump on the Arena Cross track? There's no timing at all on this yet. Timing is the very, very last thing I do when I'm building a track on this game. It just it saves any hassle if you have to go make last minute changes. You haven't then got to go and redo everything. Same with the texturing as well. I would have liked to start doing a bit of texture and just get like the base track layout and things like that, but the issue is, again, as soon as you make any track changes, you have to just completely redo everything. So I've left it. I've left everything until the end, until I'm happy with where the track is. The ruts around this Arena Cross track, to be fair, don't know if it's just because I do enjoy my Arena Cross and Supercross quite a lot, they don't really seem to affect me at all. I'm leaving the corners free, so if you are racing against someone, you can dive up the inside or try and cut down underneath them, which is much more of a possibility on these Preview 3 OEMs than current OEMs. So yeah, I'm going to leave the corners as they are. It's just going to be like the jump faces that are a bit rough and rutty. But they really don't make much of a difference. Unless you're trying to get absolutely steezy McGeezy over some of these jumps, it shouldn't affect you at all. As you can see, you still whip the big boy finish line. I don't know if the Arena Cross track is going to be... so you know how some tracks, when they release, they have basically 2 tracks within one, and they both have their own individual timing gates. I don't know if the Arena Cross track will have its own timing. I'll wait until the very, very end to try that out. It's not something I've ever done before, with having essentially 2 tracks in one. That's something that I'm going to have to ask a lot of questions about again. But I really, really enjoy this track, and it's probably one of the slowest paced SX/AX style tracks I've ever played, because even my 2024 UK Arena Cross tracks that I made, they're upscaled quite a lot. They are really, really fast. However, you'll see around the outskirts of this track, we have like these banks, and these banks are here in real life. So it wasn't a case of I could just overscale it and make it as big as I want. It needed to fit within this area that exists. So it is pretty much one-to-one. I haven't timed lap time comparison, to be fair, because we know in-game's always going to be quicker than in real life. It's just how it is. The reference video I had as well, especially with how bright this rhythm section was, is they were just going like double, double, step over, double into the corner. Of course, in-game, we have no fear of crashing. We don't mind just sending something and seeing what happens, so you can triple and possibly even quad if you get a good enough drive. But yeah, really, really nice. And I want to give a massive shout out as well, which you'll see more so when we get to the actual main track, to Mr. Kevin Fuela, which all of you probably know from his quite high-quality tracks. Showed me a little bit of a Photoshop rut tutorial, or at least how he makes his ruts. So the actual ruts on the main track are so much like smoother and more rut looking than ruts I've made before, especially on the arena cross tracks, and especially on my first track, Riverside. They're almost like just mounds of dirt that you ride around rather than actually having like the cup of a rut where it arcs and banks up slowly. But yeah, no, very, very happy with the flow of this arena cross track, as you can see so far. If you get this rhythm absolutely perfect, I'm pretty sure you can go triple, step over, and then double into the corner. So that's going to be the main line. Obviously a lot easier to do on current OEMs than the preview bikes, where the preview bikes have a little bit more slip and they're a little bit slower. But we'll work our way over here. This is all like the pit area. There's going to be a bunch of like containers and office and wash bays over that side of the map. Up top here, actually let me ride up top, I'll show you as well. Up top, before we go up top, this here is basically like a tunnel through to the other side of this bank, and obviously we can't do that in game. Your height map can't go like underneath it, so I'm just gonna have to try and do some magic here with an object or a texture to make it look like it goes through to the other side. And yeah, for spectators, they walk up here. This is your spectating area. On the end of the bank that side, you've got a little bit of a cafe that I need to enter in there. And when you go over this side as well, you've got like a race control hut in there where they deal with all of like the remote controlled flags and things like that. But if you was to just park up on the day, unload your van, you would enter the track right here. And you pull on, check over to the left, make sure you're not going to pull out on anybody, and then we start things off. Now, be aware that this track in real life, unless it is a fairly wet week or a wet day, to be fair, when you're there, it doesn't get like 4, 5, 6 ruts in every single corner. When I went, I mean, a lot of you would have seen the GoPro when I was riding that Varg, there was, in 1 or 2 corners to be fair, there was quite a few ruts, but in majority of them there was 1 main line, maybe 2, if you're lucky. Which, as you know, on the MX Bike side of things, doesn't translate too well over to MX Bikes. It will make things very one-line, very, very boring. So I have added my own little bit of, I guess, creativity to it to add more ruts and more line options to make it more interesting in the game. So in terms of exact one-to-one replica from what you'll see in GoPros, the actual track layout is that, but the ruts that you will see forming is not that. But yeah, very, very happy with how it's come out. Traction, I'm really, really enjoying these preview bikes now, to be fair. They just slow the game down a little bit, which for UK tracks especially, really, really enjoyable. I missed the little double to the inside. No. Yeah, really, really enjoyable. I might crash here, but I want to see if I can hit this massive double around the corner that I was on about in the intro. So send that, yeet this up and over. Oh, no. Came up a little bit short. Of course, the issue that you have, I'm going to be very, very strict on a timing gate there. So you need to do the double without cutting the corner too hard, because otherwise your lap's not going to count anyway. So yeah, I'll try and be a little bit strict there. Up to our little Talladega-esque corner. Up, down again. Scrubbing this bad boy, and then we'll go flying along here. If you're wondering what this banking's going on here, is you can kind of pop up here, sit, chill, rest for a little bit. Like, you know, do your hands so you get rid of all the arm pump. Maybe talk to your parents or your mechanic up on the side here, sat watching, and then you drop in again and you carry on doing the rest of your lap. In terms of the roughness, I feel like it looks rougher than it is. That could be a byproduct of where I've got the sun located right now. Before you get any proper texturing going on tracks, it's wise to have the sun at a really, really low position because it shows all of the ruts and the bumps a lot more clear than when you do have textures. That will be moved up a bit more. You see there's just the tiniest bit of undulation as you go around the track. I might increase it a little bit more here and there, but I don't see much need, to be honest. It flows well. It's not like you're going a million miles an hour everywhere with how I've built the ruts and built the corners and made things uneven. And we're on a 450 as well, to be fair. So this is probably the fastest that you are going to get to go. Up round onto this banking, down to the left. Don't think there's any way of sending this bad boy and downsiding this single. If you do manage to get that, then fair play. You deserve to gain the extra second or so of time through this little rough section here, scrubbing this bad boy. Another thing that I found is, so that single there in real life, it's a bit more like a roller, like a speed check where you slow down and barely jump it at all. But again, in game, because these bikes are so capable and the suspensions on them are so good, it's really hard to stop any crazy lines from happening. And again, through this whole process, this is nothing compared to like aerial tracks, but it does, every single time I come back to track making, it does really blow my mind how people can make high quality tracks so quickly and consistently. Because by the time I'm done with this, again, I'm going to be burnt out for another couple months, but it's definitely been a fun experience. I've learned a lot more, to be fair. Most of the stuff I've learned is in Blender. Blender is a program that it can be very, very daunting, but I've been slowly learning how to make and texture my own things in there. Obviously, you're not going to get any like full-on bike models made anytime soon, but who knows, you might get the occasional hut or basically anything with more than like 6 sides. Nah, write that off. Can't do that at all. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with this. It just, again, I'm hoping that when the textures, everything like that is all added, it won't be as bad, but I don't understand the late loading in of bumps and ruts. It's generally really, really frustrating for me. One thing I did try to mess around with is through this section right here, the fast line is to scrub the first one, then double, then triple. Also, that ditch there is for water. However, I saw a video of Mr. Jeffrey Hurlings riding here because he does the occasional UK race and he rode around here to practice. He done something a little bit different, which I don't see many people do, which was he was able to double in, then double again over the peak of it, and then double all the way down to the bottom. And you see my back end clipped a little bit, but you can get it if you get a good run at it. And I'm interested to see what way would be faster, because I've not sat here with a stopwatch or anything like that to try and show you. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what lines people can come up with. It will be a very fast track once you've learned all the lines, to be fair. Just hopping into this inside again. Lovely. There you go. That's what I wanted. And then if you are normal, say you're on a 250, rather than trying to send the big line, you'll like hug the inside, just check up on this a little bit, downside the roller, single out onto our rough, bumpy straight. You see, even though it looks like there's a lot of bumps there, bike handle it no problem at all, rear end tracking. I think that's probably more of a testament to the previews than the track itself. I think I just got lucky. Yeah, I've used a combination of Photoshop and Leveler for building this. So I would build the original jump in Leveler, copy and paste it into Photoshop, and then stretch it out or increase the size of it, change like the steepness of the face and the landings in Photoshop to my liking. And then ruts were done in Photoshop. And the bumps, there is a beautiful setting in Leveler called Perlin Noise, which you basically set your parameters, press OK, and it basically makes all the rough for you. Then all you have to do is get the blur tool out and smooth out bits that you don't want to be quite as rough. Now, it doesn't resemble traditional braking bumps, as you know, when you're going into a corner and you're bouncing all over the place trying to, say, get your arms to stop screaming because you're 3-4 laps deep and your arms are already pumped up. I think it does a really good job of just creating an uneven surface, and there's very, very rarely, at least in the UK, do you rock up to a track and the track is just perfectly smooth. A lot of places in the US, yes, maybe, where it's just really, really fast, really quick-paced tracks. But a lot of the UK, it'll get quite slowed down, quite rough, quite bumpy, and I'm just trying to do what I can to slow the track down in-game as well. I imagine lap times are probably still like 30 seconds quicker than the real-life lap times. That's how it's always going to be. But I'm very, very happy with it. And again, this track is being made with the owner's consent. So massive shout out to Ryan for even allowing me to do this in the first place. And it seems quite excited to see it in game as well. He is a man of social media, which is nice to see. It's nice seeing track owners that don't just keep to themselves. It seems like he actually wants to push and get the track's presence out there as much as possible. And they do a hell of a lot, you know, like renting Vargs for people to ride for the day. They have, I don't know what the dealio is, but they allow you to rent like a whole bunch of Fox gear. They supply like GoPros and things like that as well. So no, really, really cool stuff that they do. So very, very happy to do it. The only issue is all of the custom stuff that goes alongside it. Now, here's a little interesting bit for you, is because of how copyright works, which I really don't understand. He has like obviously signs dotted around here. He might have like a Fox banner or a GoPro logo on a container, or like a Varg logo on another one, for example. Don't know where I stand in using that, because I could just be funny and like make my own logo, so similar to Fox, just call it like Box, or instead of Varg, call it like Bark, something along those lines, which I might end up doing. It's only like the track's likeness really that I can use, and just actually call it Moto 101 rather than anything random like we do most of the time in this game. We don't name tracks exactly what they are in real life because of copyright issues. But yeah, I had an Instagram post the other week which was just a collection of all of the custom models that I made, just sat in Blender. So it'd be like banners, signs, you know, like stakes, for example, fencing, all that stuff, just lined up. There was a single Fox banner. There was one tiny Fox logo on it, and Instagram removed my picture for copyright, just for having a Fox logo in it. How nuts is that? Whether that's someone that has requested it to be removed, or if that is an like AI system that's picked it up and removed it, I don't know. I then went to go and appeal it, but then they email you saying a whole bunch of extra information and like want to know what picture, blah blah blah, even though it's just a pain in the bum. So that picture's gone. That picture's never coming back. But yeah, it does make me question how much really you can get away with using companies like this is, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. The first job is to try and make this thing look pretty, and then maybe add a couple more bumps here and there, because you see it is fairly smooth. It's very, very fast. But then I think a lot of people will like that more than just an absolutely clapped out, really, really rough, slow track. So I might just leave it as it is. I think people will enjoy it. Luckily, it does work on all heights and speeds. I mean, the 250 can get over this. This is the biggest jump on the track, I think. They can get over that, no problem. Have not tested a 125 yet. So by all means, you guys can be the first people to do that. Let's try and double this inside again. Yes, nice and smooth. And I will try. Let's try and hit this double one last time before I wrap things up here. Oh, no, I got lent over a little bit. Stretch it. Oh, bounce. Nope. Not this time. You guys can give it a go. Give it your best shot. But yeah, thank you. I just wanted to give you all an update on where the track is at so far, since I get numerous comments and questions and Discord messages and Instagram messages asking about it. And hopefully you are all as excited to play it as I am to finish it. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's very much appreciated. I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.
Lynn's in the zone, never backing down. Riding MX bikes, he's the talk of the town. 2022 champ with a YouTube crown. His game is tight, no signs of slowing down. Late nights, bright lights, he's chasing that fame in the digital arena. Writing his name, she's a 10 out of 10. Supporting his lane, hairline might receive, but his passion's the same.